Can AI really write your DAX measure in Power BI? I put two AI tools to the test, ChatGPT and Copilot. The results? Let's find out. I'm Avi Singh, a Power BI Microsoft MVP, and through my online program on learnpowerbi.com, I've helped thousands of business users master Power BI and create beautiful reports. All right, let me show you the two scenarios we're going to use to test ChatGPT, Copilot standalone, and Copilot in Power BI. So the scenario is we have our sales measure that is really simple, a sum of sales amount, and we want to use AI to create a measure in this first scenario to show us the sales for the previous quarter. So if Q2 is selected, we want it to show the Q1 sales, and right now it does. This is the measure that I wrote it as a human, and that's what we're kind of comparing against. And the other scenario is slightly more complicated, but I think still it's pretty simple. So this one, the sales measure is the same, sum of sales amount, but now we have a month, single month selected, October 25, and we want to write a measure, AI to write the measure, which gives me a span of past 3 months. So August, September, October. The idea being you can do past 3 months, you can do past 12 months, and then divide that by 3, by 12, and get kind of a monthly average to get a sense of where things are headed. And in this case, AdventureWorks is on the up and up. Okay, first one was ChatGPT. We have a full video on this, so I'm not going to go into this detail. I'll just cut to the chase. I was really disappointed. So you can watch that full video, but yeah, I had to do a lot of prompting, and I mean, I knew the solution. I had written the solution, and I'll show that to you in a second. And but it took a lot of kind of hand holding of ChatGPT. And even then, it took a wrong turn, and that really upset me. Like, it was in the right path over here, filter all calendar, and then it switched to treat as, and that really made me angry on the behalf of all the newbies, right? I mean, everybody who's starting out, a beginner, intermediate, who are using ChatGPT, there's such a risk of you being led down the wrong path. So it used treat as, and I'm like, shouldn't you use date add? And it said, yep. And I'm like, why did you use treat as? And it just kind of apologized. But again, a beginner wouldn't be able to judge. So guys, there's real risk here. And for the other one, there was so the next scenario, the span of 3 months, there was a lot of back and forth, and then I kind of gave up. Yeah, it's just it just created this. It gave me things with the syntax error. Start a month didn't even work. It used the function incorrectly, and then it worked, but it gave me the wrong answer. So it fixed that, and even here it's slightly off because notice that it's using today. It's not using the incoming filter context, and it's really complicated, really long, needlessly long. Whereas the human version, I'll show it to you, is really simple. Now it uses the offset concept, which is covered in our ultimate calendar. If you need a calendar table, just go to learnpowerbi.com/calendar, get this calendar, and the current month offset idea makes it really easy. So that's how I had written it. And I'm not sure, did I show the other one? That one was really simple, date add -3 months. Now, in the first case, it did get the right answer, but again, only because I kind of told it to, and it was giving me this crappy treat as answer. So that was ChatGPT, and now I was ready to test Copilot. And you know what? Let's do it together. But I will say that at this point, I was not feeling very optimistic. But let's see how Copilot does. Okay, so with not very high hopes, I try out Copilot. And the start was a bit bizarre, so I start off with a similar prompt. How do I go back 3 months in DAX? And initially, I was trying to create this first scenario of sales previous quarter. And it starts off by a stock market quote of this stock, but it does go on to give a really good answer. And yeah, because it talked about that, hey, there can be a few different approaches depending on what you're trying to do. There's date add, there's parallel period, dates in period, rolling 3 months. So I went back and I explained my scenarios. Pretty simple prompt. I didn't give it a lot of detail. and it nailed it. Now it did it slightly differently, so it didn't do kind of minus, but they're equivalent, right? So let me show you the final result. So this one is the Copilot solution, and again, the measure is slightly different, but I think it's equivalent, and it gives the right answer. Next up was the second scenario, sales of the past 3 months, and this one, the Copilot standalone struggled a little bit. Again, I like starting off that general prompt because roughly both these problems can be expressed in this way, at least by a layman. So it gave a similar answer as before. Kind of talks about different things, e-date, calculated column, and so forth, and that was fine. And then I fleshed out the scenario, and I'm not providing as much detail as I had provided to ChatGPT. It actually did really good. So the first measure that that it returned, and I think I used this one. Yeah, maybe I could have tried that one as well. But that one gave me 2 months instead of 3 months. So what this is doing is it's giving me October and September. So it was only slightly off. And then I came back and I tried to have Copilot correct it. And I said, hey, this is missing 1 month. And then it went off to a different different formula. It completely changed the formula. All it needed was a really small adjustment. So yeah, that one didn't even work. So this one was assuming a month start and just, was just completely off the tangent. All it needed to do was that this pattern was already there and it needed to just change this one number. So a slightly different approach, didn't quite nail it, but still came pretty close, looked promising. So Copilot in Power BI impressed me the most, at least the first time I used it. The demo went a little differently. It was accurate, it understood my model, and it wrote clean DAX that just worked. Now, the biggest drawback, of course, right now is the cost. For most small businesses or small teams, premium or fabric capacity is simply out of reach. Also, a caveat, what I showed you here was just 2 test cases. Real-world DAX problems are often much more complex and often involve fixing relationships or data model. In fact, I see that 9 times out of 10. And as you saw, AI results can vary from one run to the next. The same prompt could give you different answers. That's why at the end of the day, whether it's Copilot, ChatGPT, or the next big AI tool, you are always the pilot. You're in charge, so you still need to master the Power BI fundamentals so you can judge when the AI is helping you and when it's leading you to trouble. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and power on. Before you go, here's a slice of life. That's an action shot of my son playing soccer, and it's one of my favorites. And just watching him grow in the game over the years has been such a joy and an inspiration for me.